Good evening, this is Spiritjourney, and I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Well, today I want to share with you this report or the verdict regarding Bill Cosby, and I want to share that with you. I have it on my screen. I'm going to share it. Just take a moment. Okay, I'm just about to put it on the screen.
Bill Cosby, 3 words for you.
I'm sorry, the sound is not. Let me do the sound again.
3 words for you. Guilty, guilty, guilty! It is not just a victory for the Commonwealth. It is not just a victory for the 62 of us publicly known Cosby survivors whom Gloria Allred has helped give a voice. It is also a victory for womanhood, and it is a victory for all sexual assault survivors, female and male.
So wow, I had come home today and turned on my computer and pressed the home button on YouTube, and that's where I saw several videos about Bill Cosby. Wow, how I feel. Well, I was just before I upstream this video, this live stream, I watched other videos on Bill Cosby, and the victims, there were several conferences. These were older videos. Some of them were 3 years old, and I was just horrified at how graphic some of the assaults were. I was very, I had my hand over my mouth. I was just like really shocked at what the women went through. I first learned about the, Bill Cosby, lawsuits, scandal, maybe it could have been a year and a half ago. And I didn't know what to make out of it. I'm not a Bill Cosby fan. I wasn't a fan of his television show either. I think with me, it was something that happened maybe 20 some years ago. So he had a son that was murdered in some type of drive-by shooting. And shortly after that, a woman that he knows that is allegedly his daughter. And it looked like it could be his daughter. I mean, in my opinion, that particular woman did look like his son. And the woman was blackmailing him for money. He knows the woman. The woman is the daughter of a woman that he knows. He had dated this woman. And the woman was also given money by Bill Cosby and helped finance the girl's college and all that. So it wasn't a stranger. And the girl was blackmailing him to expose that she is actually his daughter. And she was very hurt. She was told that Bill Cosby was the father of her. And she was told this as a child growing up by her own grandmother. And so she grew up hearing all these stories that that's really your father, blah, blah, blah. And again, he did pay for, I think, her college. And she had a boyfriend at the time. And they conspired to blackmail him, and she was arrested for it. But that account shook me, and it was just something how it came across to me, the whole thing. I felt at that time, that was maybe, it could have been actually over 20 years ago, and I felt that something was sneaky about him. I felt that you have a girl, kind of looks like your family, and that it was hidden. The mother was, in essence, like giving hush-up money and just keep quiet. And again, he's married to another woman. So it's going to blow his persona, his so-called reputation. But to know that is possibly your daughter, and not even, he has the money to take a paternity test, and it just really bugged me. So fast forward, and by the year and a half ago, I started hearing about the Bill Cosby allegations of him being a sexual predator. And I guess for me, it's like, I realize as a woman that when a woman, and especially a black woman, who has allegations of rape, molestation, and the like, that you're often not believed. And they don't want to believe, and they don't want to at least investigate. And so I think women who are raped, and are raped especially by a well-known person, it's like it's almost virtually no chance to be heard. So I'm glad that with this, finally, that these women were heard. And it's really something that with the Bill Cosby, the various women, the multitude of women that eventually came forward, that it's like you have to have something behind you. And you had someone who came forward, what was that, in 2005? And then there was some, what do you call that, deposition or something, and that the papers were supposed to be sealed, and in the, he did a, what do you call it, when you have to, like a swear an oath, so what you say is you're liable for if you're caught lying. And he was asked about the drugs, and he admitted using these drugs for incapacitating women to then engage in sexual activity. I'm just, I feel like using a lot of profanity. Yeah. Hi, Kendrick. Yes. Yes. I'm hearing people talk about that all day. Oh, okay. Also, Bill Cosby served his cousin just like you did. Well, I don't know about when you say that Bill Cosby served his country, meaning that he was in the military or what? Because I know I was in the military, so I'm not really sure what you mean. If you could elaborate. Yeah. And again, I didn't hear of this Bill Cosby, the verdict, until maybe an hour ago. So it's like, wow. But I'm really, to me, with this loss, this verdict, whether it was Bill Cosby or some other celebrity or unknown, my focus here is about women in general, and even men, because men are raped too. But any victim of rape or molestation, you don't want to be heard or believed. And so I feel that we all need to be heard. And it took over 40, what was that, 60 something women to come forward for them to be heard. Again, the court case in 2005, I think, was settled outside of court, and she was paid off. There was some, what do you call it, a settlement that was given. But still, this person, the information that's in this deposition, is criminal, absolutely criminal. And to allow him to be, he's a danger. Isn't that people who do what he was convicted of, isn't that terrorism? What about the war against terrorism? Being a sexual predator is terrorism. And so I start to think about myself. Okay, Kendrick. Yeah, I'm doing okay today, Kendrick. And yeah, I'm doing okay. So I lose a train of thought. But yeah, that you have so many victims out there. So many people, because they don't have money for a lawyer. If they're minors, whatever, maybe the parents are ashamed, they try to, just forget about it. You'll forget as time goes on. I'm glad these women didn't forget. And it shows a pattern. And that's one thing I'm learning about things like this, that, see, predators, and all different types of predators, they have an MO. And they do that MO, they're called modus operandi, something like that, because it works for them. And so for people like Bill Cosby, that they have a persona, a shell that they stand behind that speaks for them, and it gets cocky. And I don't know why, I don't know what makes people sexual predators. I don't know. He has a wife, okay, but that wasn't enough. And I'm wondering whether he was a sexual predator before he married her. People just don't become a sexual predator, to my understanding. There's something that was already there. And so he stands behind this persona, because he had a comedy, he had a show in the 1970s. It was 60s or 70s. It was like a comedy show. And then like, I know in the 60s he had that TV show I Spy, So he's in, he's having a successful career. What introduced him to that type of lifestyle, And I think it's like a drug. I guess sex could be like a drug. It's power, and power corrupts. And he's definitely corrupted, and he perfected his evil to harm women. And see, there's plenty of women out there who'll be willing to have sex with a person, a man, if you have the right price. There are women like that in the world. And he can easily have found those women. But see, he's that much of a deviant, social deviant, and he drugged women, young women. And it's like, wow. Sorry. See that? I don't even, my nose, the subject is even making me sneeze. Yeah, it's a real irritant. I'm sorry. But it's really something that it's such a crafty, serpentine behavior. Anyone who does something like this, whether it's Bill Cosby or any individual, to drug a person, and you know that they're not interested in you, and to do that. So he's a taker, and it's a power thing. So he's that much of a coward that he has to immobilize the woman to get his rocks off. So I'm upset about that. I'm upset that he was permitted this type of behavior. And I get angry at the women, his wife. Again, I don't know, I never met them. But I start to wonder, when all these allegations, the wife stays by his side. I wouldn't want to stay by any man who's a rapist. But again, you have to keep faith, right? Be a dutiful wife. I don't know. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting what women have to go through and be perceived as a bad, dirty woman when you're the victim. See, they make women or sexual victims into they trash them, and they're not considered clean anymore, and society wants to avoid them and victimize them again and say, oh, you asked for it, things like that, or you must have done something to encourage him. No, there are people there who are predators, and they rely on your trusting them to violate them. Let me just do something here. Yeah. It's just, I'm really sad. How many victims are out there? And why is Hollywood seems to attract deviants? It's like they have nothing else better to do but do that. It's something about the industry in itself. I think about my life and how I felt growing up, that I was in a situation, and I shared this before, that see a lot of times women, again, people don't want to believe when women come forward. And I used to live in this place in Maui. It was a rental, and someone had to get, I don't even know these people, never seen them before. And in short, one of the guys tried to assault me in a swimming pool. I got out of that pool and I went to the management office. And as I'm telling him, he had, the manager's a male, and he's married. He was a white fellow, and he has this look like he doesn't believe me. And then the friend of the person who tried to attack me in the pool comes running because he sees me talking to the manager, extremely apologetic. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. My friend, was drunk, and then he did that to her, and I'm so sorry. Blah 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 blah. Now, if that man, the friend, didn't fess up, I would have been just another woman, another black woman, not to be believed. And historically, black women have been violated sexually in the Americas. And I just remember how I felt that. And then this is a person that I talked to before. And again, it reminds me of that element of having people validate you. I posted a video yesterday. I think, it was yesterday, and I talked about a different subject, about racism, and how I talked about like the Starbucks incident that happened maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, the two men in Philadelphia, and the cops had arrested them because they didn't buy anything immediately. But I mentioned in the video that I posted the other day, that a lot of times that it seems like in this country, that if you're a black woman, you need a white person to validate your claim. So in the Bill Cosby verdict today, now there were plenty of white women there. There were some black women, but it's like, to be heard and believed, is that validation, or someone to say, I verify what you're saying. And again, I don't want to make so much the Bill Cosby thing into a racial thing, but I'm just noticing correlations about being heard. Because for this to go on for over 40 years, and you had people speak out, but they were not heard. And I want to try to understand what makes some people heard and others not heard. There are people who do all the right thing. They might write letters and blah, 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 and talk to this, talk to people of authority, and they'll never be heard or recognized. And that's how I feel about my life growing up, that I was never heard. And I walked around in shame. And when you walk around in shame, it affects every aspect of your life. So I could just imagine these other women, these women that Bill Cosby had raped and assaulted, that they weren't heard either. And then now, after all these, just the shame that these women had, some for over 40 years. And he's a rich and powerful man. Hollywood is run by men. And it seems like in Hollywood that it's a sex thing that you do. To get a job, you got to have sex with someone. And also in the modeling industry. It's implied. And so, but some men and women want to get in the industry because the glamour and the potential of making money. And then some women might say, no, hey, I don't want this. And your reputation could be trashed around. And so these women, I could just imagine the shame. I mean, wow, some of the testimonies that some of the women that I listened to today, it seemed like the videos that I found today was very compelling. But again, I think it was last year, early last year, I think I heard of the case. And the women that I heard then wasn't as compelling as the videos I found today. And again, some of these were old videos, so I don't know why, I guess it was just by chance I found these videos. I guess that I needed to see the videos that I saw today. And I'm happy that these women were able to get their stories told and to finally be believed. And it's not because what you wear, because people want to blame women that you asked for because maybe your top was this or your bottom was that. No, you have perverts out there who prey on women, and some men prey on children, little girls. And I think also why I'm giving this live stream, I also think about, I've shared this before. I was molested growing up, and I walked in shame for years, and it still bothers me to this day. And some men are insensitive about the topic. Even, it is what it is. And I'm sorry, I'm losing train of thought. But as that about the MOs. See, a sexual predator, where he learns this behavior, it's something that they plot and they scam doing, and they rely on your weakness, your emotional weakness. It seems like they feed on fear. But what I can say with my experience, I did have the opportunity to confront my abusers, and I stood my ground. I was an adult at the time when I exposed them, and it's something very powerful when you have the opportunity to confront your abuser, and you see how weak they really are. And they were much bigger than I was. And I remember one day I was going to punch one of them. Yep. And he was surprised, he backed off. It's really something how some things when you snap, and because I was very afraid of this person, and then one day he was keep bothering me, and I raised my fist to punch him, and I was shocked because it was like a reflex, and I'm shocked at myself for even doing it because I was petrified of the person. So I guess there's still hope for me. That sometimes I still feel that fear, but for any victim out there, whether you're male or female, fight back. Keep a record of things. Keep a mental note of what's going on, and if you can tell person. If it's a so-called, again, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. I'm just speaking from my heart as someone who was molested as a child. That just, you have to think smart. Think as if your life is dependent on it. Think of ways to avoid, if you can, to tell the authorities if you can. Maybe we keep traps. Like, let's say you're alone in your house, to set traps or something that to alert you. See, sometimes they rely on you being asleep, and my predators relied on me when I was asleep. So you can put little traps around, something to make a noise, because see, they don't want to be heard. See, these are cowards. So something that will make a lot of, if you can't get a lock on your door, get a lock on your door, set traps, set things that they'll maybe fall, put oil or something on, there's a stairway to go up in your room, maybe you could put oil or something that's slippery so they'll fall on there, something that to give you time so you can get out. Set up a camera or something. If you think someone's drugging you or something, so maybe set up a camera in your room. So if something happens, you get incapacitated or something, and you get your evidence. Get evidence, especially if they're powerful people. Get evidence. Something that's tell people. Each case is unique. Each individual is unique. Each circumstance is unique. So one thing's not always going to work for somebody else. I just say pray for wisdom. And it's a shame that sometimes the adult women in if it's in a household, they know what's going on and they're playing stupid. They're playing like they don't know what's going on. They know what's going on. Women know and they have instinct to know something's not right. And shame on them for doing that. But just try to get your proof, try to buy time, try to set a barrier, and try not to be alone with that person. Tell them, hey, I don't want to be alone with so-and-so, things like that. And the more people that you tell, so it's presenting a trail. So that when authorities do come and start interviewing, oh yeah, so-and-so said such and such, they don't like being alone with this person or that, so it's, in that case, it's like leaving a trail of clues, don't try not being alone with any man. And again, Bill Cosby used his persona, his cloak and dagger to get access. So you disarmed. Who would have thought? You would think, well, if he did something, people would know and find out. But see, he used his money to pay off people. He paid off the. I'm sorry. In essence, he's like paying off. It was the National Enquirer. One of the accusers had sent a letter or some, testimony about what happened to her, and they were going to publish it. And then Bill Cosby said, dump her testimony, and I'll give you an exclusive interview. And so they canned the ladies. They didn't print her stuff. So in essence, it's like paying them off. So you have people like that, but smarty pants is like him. You got to have hold some secret cards, so to speak, to trap him, to trap evil people like him. And I'm sure there's many other people like him, because see, people like that, they probably learn from each other, brag. People like him probably brag. And what was interesting was that what I noticed, that in this case, it was something about, he kept on bringing the women to the Playboy something, like where they stay, the headquarters. Don't meet anybody in any Playboy anything. Not at all. Don't go in any hotel room. Oh, we just want an interview. No. Get a Great Dane. Get a what do you call it? A pit bull with you. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll have an interview, and I'm going to bring my pit bull with me. Yeah, you gotta. We women, we have to be smart. We have to be that much smarter. And there are women predators too. You have women who predate on people as well. So it's good that, that with one exposure, I have a feeling there's going to be other exposures out there. May they all fall. May they all get exposed. I don't know what else to say. But I feel for those victims out there. And just imagine all those other victims who never came forward. Such shame. I mean, I don't know how some of these women could have gotten in front of the camera. I would have been too ashamed with some of the stuff they said. Was unthinkable. Unthinkable. And yeah, he has a right to, to appeal. He has a $1 million, bail. I think they call it bail or something like that. And he has to turn in his passport. Yeah. So it'll be very interesting what his wife. Yeah, they showed the wife there smiling. Shame on you. Yeah. It is a victory. But again, why did it take so long to be heard? See, that's the real politics. And I mentioned something like this too in my recent video. What makes some people be heard while others do not? It's the politics behind the politics. That's the real power behind this story. Not just Bill Cosby, but I believe what happened with Bill Cosby is that there was politics going on, that it's something that he was to have a show or something, but they didn't want him to have a show because it's going to compete with somebody else's. And so they allowed the cat out of the bag and allowed the court, the women come forward to be heard. So it's all about selfishness and all about money again. I hate this money stuff. Yep. That's the real power behind this, is money. So the only thing I'll be saying now is be heard, be wise, and document everything, and keep it in a safe place, and be heard. So I hope you all that are watching, men and women, young or old, to be heard. So I thank you for listening to me. Okay? So you will have a very, very safe week. Thank you. Bye-bye.